It is now October 1st, and I saw four new movies the last month, and I'm going to be ranking them. And coming in at last place is The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. But keep in mind, I really like this movie. Like, I only saw four movies this month, but I liked all of them. And the only reason that this is in last place is because it's only like a 41-minute movie, probably, I think actually 39. And although it's a very, very fun movie, and Wes Anderson's style is obviously beautiful, never boring to look at, I think this is a good movie. I just think that the others had more to offer, and I think with this being only 41 minutes, like a lot of it feels rushed. I don't really think like you got as much character development as you could have, with of course it being a short film, which I liked that it was short. Like I liked the way it was. It's just part of me wishes that it was either like just a little bit, not too much longer, because I liked that it was short, but maybe just a couple minutes longer to get maybe a couple more scenes to kind of know more about Henry Sugar, because it is a really interesting story about like the idea of like greed and wealth and his gambling addiction. And Benedict Cumberbatch is a very charming actor. And like overall, I did really like this movie. I just thought some of the movies on here were better. So yeah, this is still a good movie. I would still highly recommend it, but some of the other ones I just thought was a tad better. And coming in at fourth place, we have Nowhere. This is another movie that I enjoyed. Um, with this one is another kind of basic survival movie that you've kind of seen a million times, but I think with like the key kind of twist here is that she's pregnant. It's not just herself, so she's not only taking care of herself, but she's also taking care of her baby. And there is a lot of stuff to this movie, and there's a lot of gross scenes. There's a lot of weird stuff that she has to do in order to keep her and her baby alive. And it is an engaging movie throughout. I will say I think like what maybe kind of holds it back a little is like with this shipping container, like it's not really that visually fun to look at, which is maybe why it's like not as good. Cause it's like I get it. It's just a basic survival movie, not really supposed to like think about visuals, but I do think that it could have done more. I think with this concept, like I said, I like this movie. I like these fun survival movies, and I thought that this was a fun movie. And coming in at second place, I feel like I almost put it number one, is A Million Miles Away. I think that this is a genuinely really great movie, as like his story is just so compelling throughout. Like the story of this astronaut, like this little boy who wanted to become an astronaut ever since he was a kid, and just seeing his hardships, seeing everything that he goes through is just so engaging. Like based on a true story, it makes it even more interesting because you know this all actually happened. Like you get to see how he was brought up in this small farm, and he like thought that he would only ever amount to being a farmer, and going to do what probably not even 1% of the people on earth get to do is just an extraordinary feat. And he's a genuinely really interesting character, and his sheer like just willpower and his determination is just so endearing. Even if sometimes he can seem like hopelessly optimistic, obviously he achieves his goal in the end, but it's just like that idea though is just really really fun to watch. Like in Michael Pena, he's super charming, and anything is. I loved him in the Ant-Man movies, and even though I did not like Tom and Jerry, like the one back from 2021, he was still pretty funny in that movie. But like I said, Michael Pena is great. This was a generally really fun movie, and I didn't really have that much complaints. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was really good. I thought the acting was great. I mean, I don't really have any complaints with this movie. And coming in at number one is No One Will Save You. And I think this has got to be number one just because this is just a very unique horror movie, even though I did have some problems with it. Like, I did not like the alien design, thought that was really generic. I thought its use of, like, kind of not knowing what's going on and this mystery aspect is just really interesting. Like, we're following Bryn, and, like, you don't know anything about her because she doesn't talk in this whole movie. Or maybe she says, like, one thing towards the end. I can't really remember. But, like, it's this character who she's clearly got an interesting background. You don't really know that much about her, and then you take this concept of like an alien and abduction and invasion, and it just builds more and more on that. Like the whole idea of like at first she thinks it's like a human, and then it's just even more terrifying, like with getting it obviously being an alien. And it just kind of feels like it slowly has more and more tension. Like the scene where the nails come off like the curtains that she tried to cover up and no one's there. And it's just more about like the sound. And that's one of the best things with horror is it's the sounds that can get to you, not necessarily even the monsters or like the jump scares. It's more just the things that you don't see and the things that you sound. It just that you hear, it just leaves it all up to your imagination. And it's like in the back of your head, you're like, what is that? Like it's kind of heart racing. Although I do think if it was kind of R rated, it could have been better because maybe you could have gotten a scarier alien design. Even though there are a couple pretty horrifying scenes for a PG-13 movie, I do kind of wish it could have gone a little bit farther. And that was my only really big problem with it is the alien design was just really, really generic. But like, it was just very interesting. Just like, I haven't really seen that many movies where the main character just doesn't talk at all. And it just, and with it being a horror, it kind of fits because it makes you feel even more alone. Because yeah, you're with Bryn the whole movie, but she doesn't talk. You don't really get to know her personality because she doesn't really have one. It's more just kind of being like really close, like really nervous and kind of scared, and that makes you feel even more scared. Not only like for her, but also like for other people because of like some of the things that happen in this movie. And I just thought that it was very unique, very fun. Like I said, my main problem was the alien design. It was so generic. They could have easily fixed it. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. So that is my ranking of all of the September 2023 movies. So let me know, rank the movies that you saw this month, the September 2023 releases. Can you just leave what did you see, and I would read all the comments. And what is your favorite movie of September 2023? And also, what's your favorite movie of the year? But yeah, overall, I had a great year, great month with the movies this year. So yeah,